This is a very special episode of the Happier Hour, Philosophy to Help Life Suck Less. So this is my second interview of the day. I mentioned in the previous, I don't know if it's going to be episode or if this is all going to be one episode. Who knows? But we're just going with it.
We'll find out.
We're going to find out. It's true. The Happier Hour, normally it is in front of a live audience, and there's usually an academic philosopher and a wonderful philosophic-ish guest like yourself. And normally I have researched and decided what philosopher I'm tying you into, and I got the call last night that I'm doing it. So we're gonna figure out who we think you most resonate with, or what philosophic movement sort of get that vibe. I already kind of have an idea just from our 30-second interaction, but we'll see if I'm right.
Wow, this is magical.
I know, and we're here at Podcast Row at Stand Up New York, so this is really fun. So you've already had one interview, so you're warmed up. I've had one
with Michael.
Yeah,
pretty stellar.
So I've got some fierce competition, and I'm ready.
This is a competition. All right, let's do it. Let's crush it, girl.
Obviously, everything has to be. All right. So now, normally, when you go on podcasts, they tend to read a bio that you've submitted, that kind of thing.
Sure.
I would love, though, instead of me reading your bio, I would love if I could put you in the hot seat that I've had to do when I meet with agents, because I'm an actress, and they stare. I won't stare at you meanly with your resume in front of me like they do.
Right.
But then they say, you have 2 minutes. Tell me about yourself. So why don't you tell us about yourself?
Okay. My name is John Richard Bundy. I am I guess I would have to say I'm an entrepreneur at heart before I even knew what entrepreneur was. I am a husband and a father. I've got a wife and 2 beautiful girls, 21 and 14. My youngest, the 14-year-old, said one day she wanted to be a YouTuber. And immediately I'm thinking, 14-year-old girl, I'm like, no, you're not going to be a YouTuber. But I said, maybe this is something we could do together. So we both learned how to set up her YouTube channel. She wanted to encourage her friends. So the things that 14-year-old girls go through, she's going through them, and she's talking about them and how she's overcoming them and what she's doing and things like that. So as I'm producing, directing, recording, editing her video for her, I thought, I really like this. So I started doing a little research on how I could possibly make a living at it, having done graphic art and design for the past 20 plus years. And I stumbled across the Harmon Brothers. Now, they did viral ads for companies such as Squatty Potty, Purple Mattress, and it's a humorous, but at the same time educating clients about product and service. So I was like, I can do that for local businesses. These guys, the Harmon Brothers, start at like $500,000 just to talk to them about a commercial, and I can be able to do stuff affordable for local businesses. So I started doing that, and business is exploding. It's only been months.
Wow.
It's just been months. And then I started a podcast about a month and a half ago.
And what is your podcast?
My podcast is called Morning Fuel. It's available on all the podcast platforms, and I interview some of my clients and other local business owners and ask them why they do what they do. And then we just have a conversation and then talk to people about how they can connect with them.
Oh my gosh, you're practicing philosophy. I love it.
Yeah.
And you said,
is that what that is?
Yeah,
all right, cool.
That whole questions, why you do what you do. Yeah, very much. So you mentioned that a lot of your work is with local businesses.
Yes.
Where's local for you?
Local is Yorktown, Virginia. So originally from Long Island, New York. Now, since '88, I've lived in and around Yorktown, Virginia, the birthplace of this nation. Yorktown, Williamsburg, Jamestown, so that's where we're at.
Now, Morning Fuel.
Morning Fuel, yes.
Yeah, you came out with New York. I heard a little bit of the
Long Island. It comes back when I spend any time with my family. I was with my sister yesterday. So.
Oh, fun! Yeah. That's so amazing. I mean, when you think about it, 14 and has her own show.
Yeah.
When I was
Kimberly
14,
Faith TV.
Oh my, Kimberly! Hey, shout out! I love it. I also love, by the way, obviously, if you're listening to the podcast, you can't see them, but they're videotaping this.
Oh yeah, look at that.
We both have.
She's got coasters.
Branded coasters.
Forget business cards. Get coasters.
For reals. No one uses business cards anymore. It's not a thing. But coasters, forget about it.
Yeah. You can use them. Business cards go in the trash. Coasters go on your coffee table.
That is true. So. They're a great conversation starter. I absolutely concur with that statement.
Great.
I especially like when mine has wine on it, but right now we're going to do coffee because it's early. So you mentioned at the beginning that you knew that you were an entrepreneur before you even knew what the word was. What does entrepreneur mean to you now?
Entrepreneur, I suppose it's somebody who can get beyond being a solopreneur, which many are, and that is you just work by yourself and you do whatever work you can do by yourself. Whereas an entrepreneur knows how to, or learns the hard way, like I'm learning now, how to hire people, how to involve others in their business, understanding that you really can't do it by yourself. You do it better with others. So the collaboration aspect of it is what I love. And then Ignition Workspace is a new collaborative work environment that I'm opening in Williamsburg, and this has just happened after I had put my bio together, so it's not on there, where I get to have a space like Spur or WeWork where entrepreneurs can come together and have their own private office, or just rent a desk, or just come in and sit on the beanbag chair and do their thing in a space where they can just get up and go and ask somebody a question on how to do what they do, and collaborate in ways like, say, I need a virtual assistant. So Jennifer Maroney is one of the folks I get to work with, and she's a virtual assistant. She owns SOS, and she helps other businesses, and she does the admin, which is the stuff that I fail at. I can meet with clients, I can dream with clients, I can do creative, but when it comes to admin, books, all that stuff, invoicing, I am horrible, and my business will fail if I don't have somebody like Jennifer Maroney.
I hear you on that. We have a lot in common, actually, because
cool.
I had a boutique video production company for a time, because this was when everyone started to feel like they needed a about video on their website.
Right.
And this was just before, though, everyone could sort of like film on their smartphones,
right,
and realize they didn't need a whole fancy thing. So it was this weird thing of like, but I didn't actually do the shooting. It was like a very professional team. And so it was this weird price point, though, because it was like kind of too expensive if you're an entrepreneur or a coach or something. And anyways, and it was a lot of work, and I was like, no, I don't want to do that. But I love that you are doing it. And I love that I think had technology been where it is now, it would have been different.
Oh, it's amazing
right also, now. I worked with communities and community spaces, and it's actually no longer here anymore, but Impact Hub, it's a global co-working space. And so I identify so much with that desire to create community, deepen community. You remind me a lot of Tina Roth Eisenberg. She's known as Swiss Miss. She runs something called Creative Mornings.
Definitely.
I'm definitely
Swiss Miss? That's awesome.
Yes, you need to know her. She is like.
Does she have a podcast? You said?
She doesn't have a podcast, but she's amazing. But she founded something called Creative Mornings that you would absolutely love. And I think they're in like over 100 cities around the world.
Right.
And she's a community builder is what she is. She's got a few different projects like that. And she has a co-working space in Brooklyn that's really beautiful and very specific niche group. So definitely all of that. So I'm already getting, I'm not good at keeping secrets. I already feel like there's a philosopher that I want to tie you into.
Oh, okay. So that's your job, because I'm not going to figure that out.
No.
It must be a Stoic philosopher of old.
It's actually pre-Stoic. Pre-Stoic,
really? Oh,
yes,
wow.
yes, because Stoics are like built, lift yourself up by your bootstrap. You don't need anyone. All the Stoics hate me for saying that right now. But no, I'm getting
There's some collaborative Stoics out there, but anyway.
It's true. But a lot of it tends to be very attractive to people that are like, run 5, marathons and wake up at 3 a.m. and do your crunches and don't complain about it and don't be mad about it. But it's great for certain things. I don't mean to piss on Stoicism, but I'm getting Epicurus with you. That's the vibe I'm getting.
Epicurus.
So Epicurus, he was pre-Stoic.
Oh, wow.
Did an episode
You're not going to channel this guy and freak me out.
No. Okay, that would be weird. But he also had a beard, and I know you can't, see this from home, but he had a long beard, and he was very jolly, and he was most known for
belly shaking like jelly.
No,
he
wasn't Santa. No, but the reason
Claus.
why I say it is because his whole he was very interested in the idea of what it means to be happy. And we hear the term now Epicurus, and we think of people that are very foodies, very much into fancy foods, and which is hilarious because that's actually the opposite. He was simple, you need simple things, and he's founded a school where he was y'all in the city, you're too high maintenance, you're not focused on what it really means to live the good life. I'm going to start this commune/school, and we all live together, and we all support each other, and we all help each other. And he came to believe that the most important ingredient to live a happy, good life is friendship.
I like that.
I thought you might.
I like that a lot.
Because
I like Cheers. And I like,
the show?
The show Cheers, it wasn't any of these guys, they knew each other. They knew the deep parts and stuff like that. Yeah.
Sometimes you want to go where everyone knows your name.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
I identify with that a lot. Actually, he said, it is not so much our friends' help that helps us as the confident knowledge that we have friends. That's a little bit butchering the quote, but that's pretty much what it is. And I've been thinking about that. I actually was having a conversation with my best friend last night.
That, right?
Yeah,
that you have friends.
And I think especially now that we live in an era where, friends means, I'm using air quotes because friends are on our social media, like friends,
the 5,000 that I have that I know like 5 of.
Yeah, exactly. You cannot be friends with 5,000 people. And and the whole thing with fans, I mean, that's a whole other topic. But this idea of having true friends that are there and that know you, that's what we desire, maybe more than anything else in the world, is to be known and seen and understood. And so the comfort in just even knowing that we have them. And I think that there's something like with what you're doing. I love that there's that you are focused on local community, because I think that feels rare right now. Feels like there's so much emphasis on scale.
Now I haven't lived in New York for a very long time. But I remember when I was younger, I grew up in Islip area, Shirley, North Shirley, New York, and the kids were in the streets all day long. I mean, we knew it's time to go home when the street lights came on and we needed to be home. These days you walk out, there's nobody out there. You don't even talk to your neighbor, and people don't let their children outside. And it's crazy to me, and I wish that weren't the case. I wish it was like it was in the 80s when I grew up on Long Island. But we need to force ourselves into those relationships now. They happened organically back in the day, but now we have to really make a concerted effort to go and be with people. So the collaboration space, Ignition Workspace that we're opening in Williamsburg, is very much like that. So you make a choice. Okay, I don't want to be by myself. I want to be with other like-minded people, even people that are different than I am, that we're going to feed off of each other and help each other. And you make that choice. You go and you get your membership. You go in there, you get your private office, or you just kind of sit at the desk. And then you have that opportunity all the time. We have advisors. So a lot of the folks coming into Ignition Workspace are going to be new to business, just coming out of their home office, and they just need a place to be. But we have a board of advisors that are folks that have been in business for a long time in different industries, that along with their membership, they're then able to meet with them a couple times a month, 30 minutes, have a meeting with them, ask them whatever questions they want. So there's a lot of amenities to doing this, and that community.
See, that's really elders, great. Yes, because I actually consult with communities oftentimes, especially people. There's a lot of organizations that want to start a co-working space.
Right.
Because they think, well, wow, this is not US, I feel like I can say this, like it can make a lot of money by just like having this open floor plan, and it's a lot of desks, and I'll just like charge several $100s a month, and then it will have a community. And I always say it's not the four walls that make the community, it's what happens in between the four walls. And I think people are very shocked to find out that you could still put people next to each other. And they might even have similar interests. They might even be a co-working space where it's like they're all of a same faith. Like right now, a lot of churches are wanting to do whatever it is. But they still won't talk to each other. Like it still takes and I think it's just more so now maybe than it used to be as well. Sure. There still needs to be this like impetus to get people talking to each other. It's really fascinating.
Yeah. So then there would be the events. There would be what we call front porch socials.
Oh, I love it.
You kind of just get people to come together and just have lunch and just talk about, even if it's just personal stuff. And then the workshops, we have a space that's conducive to having even yoga. We've got an open floor plan, so we can in the mornings, hey, you want to do yoga before work? You can pretty much go and do anything. Now the vision is one day we own the top floor of the building that we're at. Eventually, maybe the business below us moves, but then we have another floor where moms can bring their kids and then go to work. So we have childcare along with that, and a gym and stuff like that. So you can go be comfortable like you're at home, not have to worry about the stuff of home because it's there with you, and get your work done. Productivity is it's you gotta really figure out how to do it. Yeah. Because you're not gonna get anything. I wasn't getting anything done at home.
No, that is such a myth about entrepreneurship, and is like it really is. It's like anything else that it depends on the person.
It sure
so does. Some people are are going to do really, I mean, I'm sure we both know people that do really well working from home and love working from their pajamas all day. And then there's people that absolutely are like, nope, I need to be out the door, by 8 o'clock, and I need to be like showered just as if I'm going to the office, and work from a coffee shop. And I think just like with anything else, it happens so fast. Like this sort of like entrepreneurship craze, to call, if you want to call it, that all of a sudden everyone was like, okay, well, how do I do it? And then just trying on a formula that somebody else did. And then now we're seeing like, oh, that I don't, or maybe you don't even want to be an entrepreneur or a solopreneur. But that's where this sort of like soul work, comes to play.
You get to meet some really great people, though. For example, I've got a new friend now, someone that supported me to get here. Now I'm opening 3 businesses, so when it comes to money, I'm strapped. So when I asked Donnie about, what's the cost of this event, he told me, I said, I would give it to you right now because I think it's worth it, but I need to raise the money. So I put it out there. I said, I want to talk about you. I want to give a shout out while I'm on the show, and for your support. And people believed in me, and they supported me to come here today. So I just want to say, for Amy Rose Miller, what she does at the Spotted Pig Holler is the name of her business. She grows. She's a farm. She grows vegetables, and brings those vegetables to underprivileged, maybe single moms that are at home that don't have transportation to get to the grocery store, kind of stuff. And so she delivers that food from her farm. It's a nonprofit. She gives this stuff away, so, and then I get to work with some other stellar individuals that are mentoring me, such as my pastor, Ken Kramer. He's a life coach. And then another lady that's supporting me, her name is Shelly Smith, and she owns Premier Rapport. She's a business coach, mentor, a woman crushing it in her industry.
Yeah.
So getting all the support, and it's about community. That's what the collaboration space is about. So folks like me that don't know anything about such and such can go and get some help, and it's all right there under one roof.
You know what I love is the way that you're talking about community is not in the buzzword way that I hear about community. So
sure. Like authentic.
Like authentic. So this is literally when I go in and I work with companies, it's always like, we want to have an authenticity workshop. We just really need to know how to like deepen our community. And I'm like, awesome. I am pro all of these things. But we need to first talk about what that means. Innovation is a big one. We want to have an innovation workshop. What does that mean? Like, let's do some philosophy.
I heard this word the other day, and I think we ought to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like we really need to deepen our innovative community, to problem solve so that we can be more authentic in spreading our mission statement. It's like,
yes.
I think it's, but the way that you talk about it, it's, well, one, you give specific examples, so that to me already says it's like beyond an idea. And two, you are like defining community by this idea of it's helping one another and it's problem solving. I think a lot of times we're hearing community, and I never thought about this before it now, is as followers, like we were just talking about, sure. as community as like a support network in terms of like emotional support, sure. which is of course important.
Like a tribe. But a tribe with all the pieces,
yeah.
The elders and
exactly.
the warriors that go out and do this, and then the folks that take care of the home and take care of the camp and all those different roles.
Yeah, that there's an actual roll up your sleeves and help, and that it's okay to ask for help. And I love that having the different levels, and we'll just air quote levels of somebody who is maybe a master at something, somebody who's been doing something for sure. a long time in mentorship, but not in the way of, to use another buzzword, what are they, mastermind. Sure. You're not trying to, if you'd come in here and said I'm going to build a mastermind,
right,
that would have a very different connotation to me, sure. at least.
Well, I think what happens is we see folks do it, and those folks that are doing it don't stop to name it. Then we name it and we say we want that, but we don't know how to get there. So I think that's that's where the buzzwords are coming from. Where we're seeing people, wow, how did you do that? Well, I just did this and this. Oh, yeah, that's a mastermind. And then let's go ahead and do that. And then they're like, not even consulting with the person that just did that, and they're trying to do it on their own. So what we do in collaboration is we go, hey, that's awesome, man. How did you do that? And this guy goes, oh, let me tell you, and he does it for free. So where we get interesting happening is bartering.
Yeah.
Back in the day, somebody traded their goat for some chickens because they wanted eggs, and so and they had an extra goat. So what we do is we go, well, hey, I do humorous video ads for social media, but I suck at admin. So I go, you need a video, don't you? Yeah. Will you do my admin for me, and I'll do this video campaign for you? And there's no money exchanged. And we're happy to do those services for each other because it's going to help us to serve our clients better. So that's what's happening.
Well, so though, why that works is because you have a certain amount of humility about you and a certain amount of genuine belief in community. Because as soon as you said that, I thought, there's this message going around that, like, you're worth $5,000 an hour. You're worth. Right. So, like, a lot of people would say, like, well, me putting together a video is worth so much more than somebody doing admin, because of, like, the training with checking out whatever. But that's actually, it totally depends. It and what is it worth to you? Yeah. I'm the same way. I do, like, please, I would rather, like, give me a whiteboard, let me brainstorm, whatever. But do not make me, like, I'm so behind on taxes. Anyways.
Don't do that for too long.
I know this
lady, Jennifer Maroney. Of SOS, I tell you what, look her up because she's a crackerjack.
I'm on it. Jennifer, I'm coming for you.
Jennifer Maroney. I'm
coming for you.
And she's a trip, too. You love her.
Oh, see, there you go. Oh, I love it. See, look at what's happening. It's community. And I'm going to get Tina. I'm going to tell you,
Who's Tina?
From Swiss Miss.
Oh, Swiss Miss. That's right. See, you got to write that down.
I will. Don't worry.
Swiss Miss. I loved Swiss Miss growing up, especially with the marshmallows in it.
Well, and what's awesome. So cool is she's like Swiss-miss.com or something. She has on her site, like, what don't they mind or something? And she was like, they were really awesome. They were like, just don't make hot cocoa.
Oh,
just don't
so
sell
I can't
hot
make
cocoa.
the joke.
But I love that. Like, and I love that the company was like, yeah, just don't do what we do, versus like people, again, it's like this scarcity mindset that happens with people.
There's more than enough pie.
There's more than
There's
enough
really,
pie.
really more than enough
There's
pie.
even more than like 3.94 or whatever pie. There's
absolutely.
a lot of pie.
Yeah. Was that? I don't think that's it.
I don't think that's right either. Both
my wife could rattle it off because
of
that movie with Ben Stiller in it, the museum thing. Remember the middle bobblehead Einsteins were saying the number over and over again?
That's right.
My wife and daughter can rattle it off. I don't know.
It's going to bother me.
3.1415 something, blah, 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 blah.
There you go.
Pie. And I'm like,
go.
No.
I majored in theater, y'all. My parents are really rolling in their grave right now. So you've got the co-working space.
Yes.
And
Ignition Workspace. Yeah.
Ignition Workspace. You've got your podcast.
Yeah, Morning Fuel.
And where you interview, you're interviewing the local, local businesses.
My clients, I offer it for free for my clients and for local businesses come in. Some friends too. Like I'm going to have a friend, just found out he's a musician. And I'm like, wow. So we're going to talk about that. And he's got a story that I think, our stories don't belong to us. If we don't share our stories with other people, we're actually probably some of them, we're saving them from the grave or early death if we don't if we share our story with them. And if we don't, they're going to die. So that's how seriously I take it.
Is it Maya Angelou that said, like, there's nothing more tragic than the untold story inside of you?
Probably. She's really smart.
Probably. And I really like to butcher quotes, but it's something in those lines, I am sure.
Star Wars quotes now?
Yes. Hey, you know what?
I'm Bundy Wan Kenobi, actually. That's another video YouTube thing I'm going to do. I think on Snapchat and TikTok for the kids.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so
I know.
Jedi
TikTok's cute.
Jedi Reads is what it's going to be called.
Oh my gosh. Well, it's it is. There's so much philosophy. I mean, and I think there's probably even is a flawedcast.
A flawedcaster. You're a flawedcaster.
I'm a flawedcaster.
PH flawedcaster.
That basically ties in all of the philosophy in Star Wars because it's everywhere. So, and you said that there was a third thing as well, right? Oh.
Well, it was Ignition Workspace, Scribe Design, where I do the humorous videos for social media to draw a crowd around your product or service and start a riot is what we do.
Oh,
and then we're attention brokers is what we are. So, and then the Morning Fuel podcast, and then I work at NASA. Now, I don't talk about that.
Wait, are you being serious?
I work at NASA in Hampton, Langley. Yes.
For real?
Yes. Yeah, I'm not into spaceships. I'm into spaceships, but like the millennium.
Oh my! How are we like 20 minutes into this and I'm just
because I don't like to talk about it. It's
I know.
My
well,
9
and your
to 5
website wasn't up. I don't know if it is now.
I have to math, and I don't like it. I like this about it. It provides for my family.
Yes. Well, that's hugely important.
Yeah, it is.
But really, what do you do for NASA?
I am an inspector.
What does that mean?
I inspect high pressure systems. So for example, they have gases and liquids under pressure to do their experiments. And I don't know what their experiments are because they cover them up when I go into the room.
Wow.
So I go out there and I make sure that the components, the little valves and the little pieces of pipe and the little connections, fittings and all that stuff, I make certain that they can take the pressure. So I have to go and look for the catalog, and I have to look up the numbers and make sure that this thing can support 6,000 psi, which is a lot, blow your head off kind of stuff. And so that's what I do.
I feel like there's some really great metaphors in there for your bit of like.
I'm Batman.
You're checking the pressure. You're making sure it can handle the pressure.
I'm working under pressure is what I'm working under pressure right now. So I do that 9 to 5.
Listen to that song a lot.
And then I hum it in my mind when I'm under pressure, ding 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 ding. Yeah. So don't sue me. So yeah. So.
Wow, that's so fascinating. How did you get? I mean, I know you don't want to like talk about that too much, but I am curious. Like, how did you get involved in that? It's a good
story. I lost my job working for the shipyard. I was in a machine shop, and I was trying to get into the restaurant industry. So I went to work for a restaurant. I was being groomed to be the sous chef and then eventually take over the restaurant because the guy was retiring. Well, as soon as I left the shipyard to start full-time at the restaurant, that fell through because they were doing work on a bridge tunnel near us where everybody would come from Virginia Beach and Norfolk over to patron the restaurant. They were working on the tunnel, so people couldn't get there on the weekend, so money went away. So I was out of work, and I got a wife, 2 daughters, and we stayed with my mother-in-law and take care of my mother-in-law. And I went into depression and anxiety to where I couldn't even get out. Like I didn't want to leave the house, and I wished to die. I couldn't do it. I wouldn't take my own life, but I would imagine my family homeless every day, and I couldn't pull myself out of it. I couldn't snap myself out of this thing. And then through reading, praying, getting into a morning routine of exercise and meditation and stuff like that, I was able to bring myself out. And then of course I had the friends, I had the community that I was real close with for very long. My pastor prayed for me, talked with me, listened to me, even though I sounded like a blubbering idiot. And my wife prayed for me, and she would listen to me, wake her up at 2 o'clock in the morning saying, "I don't know what to do, Sarah. I don't know what to do." And so after that, in the middle of that, part of my problem was I didn't have money, so I needed a job. So I'm trying to get a job, and I'm afraid to go out the front door. How am I going to interview? So a buddy of mine worked at NASA. And he said, "Hey, they got this position open." And I'm like, "Pressure systems technician? What the heck is that? I don't know how to do that." And he says, "Don't worry. You know stuff about pipes, don't you?" I was like, "Yeah, I did construction for a while. I know what a valve is. I know what an elbow is." He's like, "Okay, you got it." I got the job.
Wow.
The interview was the most horrible interview I've ever had in my life. Sitting there in front of 5 people asking me questions about engineering stuff. And I left there, and as soon as I walked out the door, I called my wife and said, "Babe, I probably did not get that job." And they called me the next day. So I've been there for 2 years now.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah.
But I really love that came through a friend even.
It did. It was community.
Absolutely.
Community. A friend of, a father of one of my daughter's friends.
Wow. Yeah. That's why sometimes you really do want to know where everybody knows.
You do.
And NASA.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for being
You're
here.
Very welcome.
Let people know where they can find you.
Okay. Well, Morning Fuel Podcast on Facebook. Also, johnrichardbundy.com, www.johnrichardbundy.com. The website is under construction. My business is growing so fast, I didn't do some things because I thought I had some time. So the website is just happening. At Scribe Design 1 on Facebook is where you can find me.
I love it. All the things. And I'm looking forward to following along in your journey. And next time in your neck of the woods, I'm absolutely reaching out. Oh,
we got to have some wine next time or something.
Absolutely.
Like that. Have you on my podcast. Come to Yorktown, Virginia.
Done.
Okay,
it will happen. You don't want to offer things to me because
cool.
I will
have
take
coffee.
Them.
I won't have water in a coffee.
Perfect. Cheers. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Hey, Facebook Live.
Yay. Oh, let me turn that off because my battery's about to die. Thank you.
Yay. Thank you so much. Thanks. And thanks, Matt.
Dude, you rock, man.